Oh, we've got a storm system moving across the lower Ohio Valley. Severe weather tonight in the lower Mississippi Valley, actually, even in the parts of the middle Mississippi Valley. That is going to bring the Northeast and Northern Mid Atlantic states back into the land of gloom and doom with rain and some wind. And well, we'll let you know how long it's going to last. Is this pattern ever going to break down and go away? These are all questions tonight that we will attempt to answer on the Joe and Joe Weather Show with once again Renata Rao, or as she is affectionately called, Mrs. Rao here. Uh, Good evening. Did you have a nice day today?
Hello, good evening. Oh, yeah, it was a great afternoon. It's turned overcast since earlier, but yeah, great day. And we were outside this afternoon doing a lot of spring cleanup, pulling the dandelions out of the lawn and the weeds and sticks. Lots of sticks still to be picked up. And yeah, Joe was on the lawn tractor and uses the small lawnmower around the edges. And that was still a lot to do, though.
I was wondering
It's
if
a lot
Oliver,
of catch.
I was wondering if Oliver Douglas wound up on the tractor today. I guess he did.
He did, minus the suit.
Yeah, exactly. We were, last year, Joe and I basically friendly wagered him on the fact that who would get to 80, 71st, 81st, 91st, and uh, of course, you did that before I did, believe it or not. But this year, with the way the blocking pattern is set up, I've already gotten to. I got to 70 a long time ago, and I got to 80 a while ago too. So it looks like this year, at least with the way things are standing, uh, things are a bit more normalized here. Although we still had some cold going into the month of April, but we pretty much locked into this warm air. As long as we can stay away from any kind of a big high that builds down the East Coast, which hopefully, thankfully, won't happen, uh, I will continue to enjoy the lovely, almost late spring weather that we're having around here. And I've got severe weather risk for tomorrow, which should be fun.
Yes, I do. Mhm.
And as far
But
as,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
you're so high up in the mountains, though. The elevation kind of spoils all your chances of a really good, banging thunderstorm.
It's a little weird here. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. Uh, we do get a lot of times with these storms, we do wind up getting some really very heavy downpours out of them, and some lightning and thunder. I haven't
Right.
seen anything truly that I would regard as severe. We've had a couple of thunderstorms that have been rather active and loud, but so far, at least, nothing crazy. Yeah, the mountains do change things around here. A lot of it depends on where you're located, because the weather is in cases like this is so much different. Say if you're on the east facing side versus say a west facing side, or north versus south. I've seen some strange things happen along the way in the last couple of years, depending on where the weather's coming from and which way the wind is blowing. So it does make for a
Mm.
forecast challenge. I will say this, at least as far as what I'm looking at, after I looked at everything today, I mean, obviously tomorrow and Saturday are done for in the Northeast and Northern Mid-Atlantic states. It's gloom and
Yeah.
doom,
Yeah.
and it is. And I have to tell you, I am not right now. I'm not optimistic for Sunday. Uh, I, I I I think that even if the rain winds up ending, and it should, I do.
Exactly. Right.
I think the position of the low and the strength of the wind come of the onshore flow of the ocean, I think it's really going to make it a tough sell to clear out on Sunday, or even get some brightening of skies. I think it's just going to be a gloom and doom type day.
As long as it doesn't pour, but for some folks, they still will see some rain, especially to the south of New York City.
Oh yeah,
They will still see a substantial amount of rain.
oh yeah, and in fact, the one of the things that's kind of come up a bit in terms of numbers, as I was looking at from the Weather Service forecast, and in lieu of the fact that everything really just sort of wound up being a little further north, and maybe the upper lows are slightly more dynamic than what was being indicated. But the rainfall amounts being forecast now have been pushed higher. I was just looking at I got the digital forecast from the
Yes.
Weather Service up on the screen. I mean, they're going for generally an inch and a half to, in some places, especially in south central, southeast PA, and in a pocket there that goes down into Maryland. Now, some of the rain down in Maryland and northeastern Virginia is going to be convective, and also in southern New Jersey. But 2 to 2.5 inch amounts being forecast. I have to tell you, I don't think it's that unreasonable that we could see rain those kind of numbers.
Incredible amounts of rain, especially to the south of New York City. And like you said, 2.5, 3 inches. There may even be a bullseye of 4 inches in spots, particularly in the interior areas. So, it's not going to be a pleasant next couple of days for sure. And for those folks down there that we just mentioned, like southern Pennsylvania down into central and southern Jersey, Delaware, Virginia, they'll continue with some nasty weather right into Sunday.
Oh
It'll
yeah.
gradually peter out, but that's the good word for it. It'll gradually peter out as you go later in the weekend into Monday.
Well, the other issue I think for early next week is how long is it going to take for the onshore flow to relax and for the whole system to kind of
Sun,
drop southward. And
yeah, the
I,
sun to
I
slowly break
yeah,
through.
I'm thinking Monday and Tuesday are going to be tough from that standpoint. Now maybe later in the week there could be enough drying and the east wind will relax to a large degree that maybe we'll start to see some general improvement. Inland areas maybe later next week could start to warm up, which would be interesting, and also the fact that places up to the north and well to the north and northwest, well up into upstate New York and around the Great Lakes and into southern Canada. I mean, they're going to wind up. I'm just going to really quick see if I can pull up a temperature map for those areas. Let's go. I'll put a max temp and let it try to load up for, I don't know, we'll just take a random look at Thursday, for example, which is the last day of this stretch. And
The further north you go, obviously, the nicer the weather is going to be because it will be farther away from the storm. It will be out of the cloud cover.
yeah,
Mother's Day will likely be pretty good, for
up,
northern New York State and northern New England.
yeah, I'm looking at Thursday. So even on Thursday, we still have down here near the coast a mostly east to southeast wind. In fact, east and southeast winds all across Pennsylvania into upstate New York. But uh, once you get inland, the sun has more impact if we wind up getting it. And again, we're talking about later next week. You start to get into 80s up in western New York and up in northern New York. Meanwhile, it's still in the 60s right along the immediate coast. So it's just gonna take time to get this whole pattern out of the way. On the satellite tonight, while the satellite's looping, let me just say a big hello and welcome to everybody tonight on the chat board. It's good to see everybody here. As always, welcome to those of you who are new and watching the show for the first time. But welcome to my YouTube channel and the Joe and Joe Weather Show. We're on 5 days a week. Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time and Monday through Thursdays at 7:30 Eastern Time. Mrs. Rao, Renata Rao, substituting in for Joe Rao, who is tonight the Philippines talk night.
No, no, no. That'll be Saturday morning
Oh,
early.
that's right. Yes, they get the big
Yes,
time
yes,
difference.
yes. So he gives two talks this evening, and yeah, he's a busy guy.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night we have a big night that we always look forward to every single year at my German club. We have
Yes.
our whoosh night
Whoosh.
where
Yes.
there's like 4 long tables of nothing but food.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, that's a great. And Joe looks forward to it too. Most of us do at the club. So that's a great evening to enjoy tomorrow evening for us. And yeah, so And I have no idea what I'm doing on Mother's Day or this weekend. I'm going to leave that up to the kids.
Yeah, well, as it should be. By the way, Renata is monitoring the chat board, so if you have any questions or comments, do share them, and we'll share them here on the show. Meanwhile, here comes our storm system. Again, underneath this block that's up to the north, it's getting all pushed straight to the east. There's no way this could go northeast. There's no way we're going to be warm sectored up into the northeast. In fact, the way the low is tracking, it's basically going to move just straight east from where it is now, and you can see the upper low rotation is very obvious on the satellite loop tonight. And ahead of it, we're getting inflow from the Gulf of Mexico, moving into the lower and middle Mississippi Valley. And those areas, basically that arrow I drew is a general line from where there south is where you're going to wind up seeing thunderstorms over the next couple of days as the storm system shifts eastward. We've got also another system that's come into the northwest. Unfortunately, it's not going to be able to kick this along. We needed something to come down out of Canada to pick it up, and unfortunately, that system's going to be too far to the northeast to have any kind of impact on this particular system. So we'll give the radar a check here, and it is getting a bit busy down in the land of severe weather tonight in northwest Mississippi. We've got just one severe thunderstorm warning at the moment, and we have one, two, three, four, five, 6 counties in Arkansas that are under flash flood warnings. There are some stronger storms showing up in East Texas and extending back well to the west, well to the north and west of Houston, and those are sort of sliding to the east southeast. And meanwhile, there's rain in northern Indiana, Ohio, already a little bit of rain on the radar in western Pennsylvania that's moving eastward. It looks like the rain's going to get here by morning, I think, in eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England.
That's right. It'll be spreading. Yeah, I may even see some showers here by 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and that'll be it. Once that weather settles in, it'll be, as you mentioned, kind of gloomy and uncomfortable, cool, and dank for a while to come.
The block's not going to last forever, folks. It does eventually get shut off, the overall pattern, and
Yes,
it
it
always
always has,
does.
even after 40 days and 40 nights.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It seems that way, and this is on every spring. I guess people's memories are just very short. I don't understand. I don't. I mean, I do understand it, but I don't understand it. You and I and Joe. I mean, we pay attention to these things on a regular basis, so we remember. But this is spring in the Northeast, down into the Mid-Atlantic states, particularly on the northern end of the Mid-Atlantic states. Spring is horrible. It's not a good time of year until you get to maybe Memorial Day, and then it starts to
Right.
improve. But up until then,
Right.
you're stuck in this sort of thing.
Right. Right. Intermittent periods of clouds and showers. And that's what gets things going. That's Mother Nature's way of getting things going, the grass growing, the trees going. So it's that time of year where the
Yes,
weather
and
pattern is changing. It's hard to predict in the spring. There's always at least like a 3 to 4, 5 week window where it's hard to get the timing on these weather systems. And it's like pulling teeth. It's very frustrating for meteorologists. But and then of course at the same time, while we're getting all the intermittent rainfall down across the South and back towards Texas, as we see today, and what's happened in recent weeks, there's the increased threat of strong thunderstorms and tornadic activity that gradually builds up during the course of the spring. And now we have tornado watches, I believe, up in eastern Texas, right?
well, actually, they just took it down. There was a tornado
Just
watch
yeah.
just recently took it down from uh, Central and East Texas going on a sort of an east-west line. But I'm looking at the loop here from SPC, and the tornado watch box disappears on the last few frames. There are a couple of working severe thunderstorm watches. One in northern Mississippi and into southern Tennessee, and another one that goes through central Tennessee, west central Tennessee, and into a small portion of southwestern Kentucky. And those are going to go for a while. This one was issued. This one is going to expire. The one in Mississippi expires at 10 o'clock uh, Eastern time, so 9 o'clock Central. And the other one is going to expire at 9 o'clock Eastern time or 8 o'clock Central. And always remember, folks, when you're watching this show on a replay, obviously what you're seeing now in terms of satellite radar and severe weather information is all dated. So you want to make sure you get the latest weather information, and you can do that by going to your local National Weather Service forecast office, and you can access that by going to, very simply, weather.gov. So we've got enhanced risk in northeast Texas. Part of that area is already probably played through some of the thunderstorms. Most of it has shifted south and east of where the enhanced risk is, but still enhanced risk in northwest Louisiana into Arkansas. And then the band of slight risk goes all the way up into southern Kentucky. Now, tomorrow's going to be interesting for me here in southeast Georgia, in northeast Georgia. I'm in slight risk. We have a fairly large area of slight risk being indicated by SPC that covers much of southern Virginia, southern West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, eastern Tennessee, almost all of North Carolina except the extreme southeast. The coastal areas of North, South Carolina, and Georgia into northern Florida are in marginal risk. And we have a small area of enhanced risk in southern Alabama into southwest Georgia. And as far as tornado risk is concerned, the enhanced risk carries a 10% risk, 5% risk for me, extending up into eastern Tennessee and western Kentucky, and also a small area of 5% risk in southern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina. Everybody else in the risk zone is in 2%. And then after that, as we go through day 4 through day 8, and things are going to calm down a little bit. I'm sorry, day 3, which is Saturday and Sunday, we've got marginal risk up in Nebraska and in southern South Dakota. On day 4, we have predictability too low for day 4. Day 5 in Minnesota and in Iowa, we have a 15% risk being indicated, which is the equivalent of a slight risk. Predictability too low on day 6, day 7, and day 8. And obviously, with what we're getting here in the Northeast with this weather system and into the northern mid-Atlantic states with an east wind, you're not likely to see any thunderstorms in a setup like that.
Right, right, right. I'm just looking at the chat board. Want to thank Chuck Cardillo for the chat board hit that he gave us. And Dennis Cassie was saying how he was working outside and he's waiting for the Advil to kick in. He's not the only one.
Nice.
Yeah, we're getting a little old, right, Dennis? Okay.
We're all getting old.
Oh,
Yeah, Dennis sent me a message yesterday saying that the show was at 8 o'clock. I said no, it's at 7:30, and then he realized that the message was from the day before.
yesterday, the previous
Yes,
day, yeah.
exactly. Um,
Yeah, Joe had to go in and fix that right away as soon as he heard that from Dennis. So thank you, Dennis.
yes, we looking at WPC has actually beefed up the rainfall amounts quite a bit now. They've pushed the inch and a half line to just about to Route 84, maybe even a little bit north of Route 84, across southern Connecticut, Long Island, and northern New Jersey. They've got 2 to 2.5 inches indicated for southeast, for coastal and southern New Jersey. Also in southeast and through south central and a good chunk of central PA, also in a 2 to 2.5, maybe 3 inches possible here. And again,
Mhm.
the upside at least is the fact that it is spread out over Friday and Saturday. and even into part of Sunday, so that at least it
Yeah.
has time to soak in and it doesn't come all in one shot and you wind up with some flash flooding issues. Although I wouldn't be surprised if we wind up to see some, the usual suspect flooding spots might have some problems here. We have
Oh, for sure.
oh yeah,
Oh, for sure.
and lower amounts as you get down into Virginia and North Carolina, where it becomes more convective. The same down as you head through much of the southeast, Georgia, South Carolina, Georgia, and then going west into the Gulf states, a little strip of an inch plus across southern Louisiana and the Gulf Coast, which is nothing unusual there. Three-quarters of an inch to an inch and a half in the northern plains and in the westernmost parts of the Great Lakes, mainly uh, west of Lake Superior. Some big rain amounts in the Pacific Northwest. That continues. Also in the Northern Rockies, we have big precip amounts there. And once again, the Southwest is bone dry. So I got the GFS up, Renata, and I'm looking at the simulated satellite loop here. And I guess the big question for Sunday is whether we could get enough drying to come in from the north as the low starts to pivot to the south. And as each run has passed by, and by the way, we should mention that the European model all along has been much further north and much more robust and more pessimistic than the models, and the GFS has kind of moved in this direction over time. We are seeing. See if I got the latest. That's a 12Z. Let's see if we look at the 18Z simulated satellite loop, and this is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I mean, so obviously, because all the enhanced clouds are all overhead, and it's all sliding east as advertised. And here we go for
Right.
Saturday. So Saturday, you start to get the enhancement pushed up a little bit further to the north, but moving into Sunday, I don't know. I just the low being to our south, and you can see it here at least. And this is where the GFS may be wrong. The upper low is down here. The surface low is probably just to the northeast of that. You're still going to have this fetch coming in from the east, and that's why I'm just thinking it's going to be so hard to get. There's just going to be some drier air up to the northwest that would try to get filtered in. But I just think the low level flow is so strong that uh, it's just going to have a tough. It's just going to have a tough sell in my view.
Yeah, you circled the that what you just did, what you circled, and there again too. Yeah, that's for Sunday, and the onshore flow still from the east to northeast brings in the cloud cover, moisture, and the high, which is I think going to be increasing to 1028, something like that, 1028 millibars.
Yes.
That's going to be positioned or centered over eastern Canada, and that is going to bring that dry slot in between the two weather systems. But you know, it's going to take a long time for the cloud cover to gradually ease out of the eastern United States, extreme coastal area of the United States. Johnny Quest has a question, and he wants to know if that low down over the Bahamas is going to play a factor for the East. Not necessarily for what's going to happen to us over the next several days, but we may get some sort of I believe there was talk of some subtropical activity down around that way for
Really,
next
I
week.
didn't. Well, I mean, it's not impossible. We're coming into we're coming into where we are in May. I was talking with a friend of mine who's at the beaches in North Florida. They said the water is exceptionally warm there. Haven't really looked at the water
Mhm.
temperatures, but sometimes those upper lows, those cold upper lows, when they drop southward, if they sit down there long enough over the warm water, you can wind up seeing some subtropical development. And being that we've had named storms in the month of May, I think every year for the last 6 years, as it wouldn't be a surprise if we do it again. I've got the NAM 3 kilometer
Right.
up, and the reason why is I wanted to look at some of these thunderstorms moving across the south. And it does have a juicy line on Friday morning moving through Alabama and Mississippi and then eventually crossing into Georgia. But usually the northern part of that line seems to get fractured once it gets over me, which is not a big surprise. Meanwhile,
Mhm.
you see the rain that moves in into New Jersey and Long Island around 9, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. and then just gradually continues as we go through the rest of the day and going into Friday night and Saturday. And of course, with the low moving east and then stalling and then dropping southward, that east-west bands of rain have no place to go. They're just going to continue right through Friday night and into Saturday and Saturday evening. One thing I noticed, by the way, on the regular NAM, and this is something I think that needs to be paid attention to as far as Sunday is concerned, is and I'll see what this run did with it. This is the new one. I know the old one was not promising at all. I mean, it still had rain around most of the day on Sunday. But see, here's the thing: the low goes out and sits there. So while it's rotating with this big upper low sitting there and this counterclockwise flow that goes from south to east, a lot of what you see out in the open waters, and I just put back what I had because it really, this is how it's going to look. The upper air flow all the way up the atmosphere is going to be from the southeast and east. So the rain may peter out to an extent, but then you got to watch to see if there's any kind of rain that develops out in the ocean and pivots back northwestward, which is what the NAM does. See, it just kind of the rain stops for a few hours, overnight into early Sunday morning, and then after daybreak, you get this area that comes in from the east and pushes back to the west. This is uh, this is something that I think we have to consider for Sunday, that we could still wind up seeing rain in New Jersey to Long Island and the lower Hudson Valley to southern Connecticut as the low sits out offshore. Because until it drops far enough south, you're going to still get these arms of uh, these troughs, these up inverted troughs that are going to rotate up and around and bring in waves of rain from the east.
Yeah, there'll still be some intermittent spotty precipitation coming in from east, going from east to west. And people are going to, be a little surprised by that when they see the rotation and how it is not usually that way, because we usually tend to talk about weather moving from west to east. But this will be one of those circumstances where it's going to be coming in it's going to be coming in off the water, off the ocean.
Yeah, there's a good easter. You got a 1030 high sitting in eastern Nova Scotia. You got a bunch of isobars, so it'll probably be breezy. Might even be a bit windy along the coast. But that
There
east,
is, yes, there's a gale watch in effect for the
yes.
coastal areas from Hudson Canyon down through the Baltimore area. Yeah.
And by the way, the map I have up here is for actually 2 a.m. Monday morning. So we're still, if this is correct, and this is what the Europeans been sort of showing for the last couple of days. We've got, Sunday is just not going to turn out to, is not going to turn out well. I do see little reason to be optimistic about it. And then as we move on into next week, again, once the low drops far enough south, we can get out of the way of those little ripples coming in from off the ocean. You still got that high. It's a 1037 high between Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, and you still have this easterly flow coming in on Tuesday. But to me, it says we still might have gloom and doom issues. Even into Wednesday, we might have gloom and doom issues. Although inland, it'll get much better. If you're in Pennsylvania, if you're, say, from the
Right.
western New Jersey PA line westward and maybe
Hmm.
north and west of Route 84, I think you start to maybe see some improvement, possibly as early as Tuesday. We'll have to just see how it looks. And then at the end of the week, at the end of next week, see, here's another big difference. You still have mostly an easterly flow on the European right through Friday with a low sitting off the coast south of Charleston, South Carolina. The GFS, on the other hand, uh, would give you the notion that maybe by the latter part of next week we could start to see temperatures, start to climb. Well, we know it's going to do that inland. The coast is still going to be a bit of a problem. But again, until this upper low and this whole system just completely plays itself out, it's just really hard to come up with any kind of scenario where the weather here in eastern PA to southern New England, down into Maryland, Delaware, northern Virginia. It just becomes very difficult to come up with a scenario where the weather is going to improve much.
Right, right, right. Like you said, unless you are further inland, and then the weather conditions will be nicer and drier. So it all depends on your location, 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 location.
We are losing the negative NAO. It's going to go positive over time. So we were talking back a week or two ago about maybe by the middle of the month we could start to see this whole blocking pattern go away. And I'm running through the GFS upper air out for the next 2 weeks. You still have the upper low on Friday sitting over the state of Georgia, sitting right over me, which I'm not looking forward to if that happens. But then it just sort of gets absorbed. And now, after about the 15th, 16th, you'll notice that's all lower pressures across Canada, northern Canada, and on up toward Greenland. So everything starts to move west to east again, which is really good.
Right.
And
Yeah, here's where the weather pattern is going to change, and you're gonna get some rhythm again going. The atmosphere is going to start to move along.
correct. So I mean, I don't know that there's much else that we can say about what's going on here. It just is not. Where'd your light go? You're in darkness now.
You know why?
Why?
It's dark outside. And let there be light.
There you go.
I changed locations this evening because of who being just below me last night.
Right.
Um,
And I also
so
see, by the way,
I
if
could
you
hear it right through the floor.
from your sitting position, you have a lovely wreath halo going behind you. I noticed that.
It's a eucalyptus wreath.
Is it? Is
Anyway,
it real or fake?
no, it's real.
It's real. Oh, so
It's
you got
real.
that
Yeah,
eucalyptus.
it's
Um,
it's dry. It's dried out, but yeah, it's been hanging up there for a long, long time, long, long time. So I don't think it has any much more scent to it left.
how'd you
Okay, so yes.
how did you do on how did you do on Wordle today?
I forgot to do it. See,
Oh,
I was
oh,
busy. Yeah,
uh,
I
uh,
was busy doing fest work because we have my German club has got a spring fest June 4th and June 5th. So I'm going back and forth with communications for that. And of course, like I said, we were outside all afternoon, and I'm sorry if I got to do the Wordle.
now
Usually my daughter sends me a little like push notification,
right.
something through the text or something.
So now on the other one that I'm playing on Wordy, which allows for unlimited play, I'm on a 72 word winning streak, which is pretty,
Wow,
yeah.
that's
But I
pretty
have to
good.
tell you something because I mentioned yesterday. Oh, well, a couple of things. So I was trying to decide whether I should use place or lease as my starting word, and
Uh-huh.
I chose place. Okay,
Yeah.
and the A and the L came up. I'm sorry, the L and the A. So it was on the L in the second position, A in the third position. As I'm looking at it, and
Hmm.
I say, all right, well, you know what? Why don't I just try lease? And sure enough, it was the word. It was the second word.
Well, not too many of the words that we've had in Wordle have a letter P in them. If I'm looking back at it and
You haven't,
thinking about it.
yeah. The more you play it, it starts. P and C are two letters that I like to get in there because
Hmm.
if there's an S involved, you have there's a lot of words with SPs and C's for some reason. Because
Right.
that's sort of an interchangeable letter. It could be in the beginning. It could a lot of times it's the fourth letter because it's followed by the letter H or sometimes even the letter
If,
Y. So
you go online and ask, like, what's the best word to use for Wordle, they will tell you the best word to use is a word crane,
oh,
Crane.
yeah, I've used Crane a lot. Crane I do use a lot because there's
My
not.
My go-to is I showed you last night is the word saute or
Yes.
ounce. And the one time I remember, this is when I first started doing it some months ago. The one time I didn't use the word saute turned out to be the word saute.
Yeah. Well, uh, the
Uh,
other thing that happened today was so I was really struggling. I got to a point where I had to after the first three words that I put up there because I only had one letter. I think I had the letter E, um, and the letter the letter R by the third word, and with the letter combinations that were remaining because I got rid of all the other vowels. I was like, okay, none of this is making sense. Nothing seems to be working. So ultimately, what I had to do was make words to eliminate letters. And then I just got to the last line and I'm staring at it.
yeah.
And I've got letters left like V and Z and X and, just preposterous letters that,
Was
I,
was that the day the word was larva?
I got that. I actually got that on the, I actually
So
got
did
that
I.
on the third word. Um, I was writing it. I said, because I always thought Larva was Larvae, but I guess there's a variation of it that's Larva.
Right.
So I said, well,
Yeah.
I said, what the hell? Let me just try it, and it came up. But on this last word, I must have sat there for about 20, 30 minutes, looking at it, and then finally,
That happens once in a
yeah,
while.
finally it
It all
came to
depends on
me.
what word you start out with,
Yeah, it,
how lucky you get,
and also what letters you
confidence and
eliminate, because if you have
right.
if you have key letters eliminated, it's hard to make words to sort of eliminate, get your letters in position. The word turned out to be extra, which I did get on because I kept,
Oh,
but I had at that point I only had maybe like six letters left, that were even workable. And and then the Z, the X, the W, the Y, and so on. And I'm just looking at it. Finally, I looked at it and I said, oh my God, it's extra. So, but it's a lot of fun. It's if you haven't done it yet,
it
it's
is.
the
It
New
is.
York Times and it's free, and you can find it online and make a little shortcut there on your phone so that you can play it once a day.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
JC,
I've been doing, I think I told you, I got started on doing the jumble when I was a kid, like when I was in sixth grade. My father would do that every single day in the newspaper. And sometimes if he had trouble with a word, he'd say, here, try to figure this out. And so I got started with that. And the jumbles, for the most part, I can do them very, very quickly because I've been doing them for decades. And that, and well, Joe will also tell you Sudoku. I have been doing now for a few years now,
mhm.
and I only do the ones later in the week because they're harder because they're more of a challenge.
David
So
Ferguson,
yeah, yes,
David Ferguson on the chat board was asking us about the weather in Nebraska on Sunday, about whether there's a severe weather issues. Um, I'm going to say no because the low, Dave, on Sunday morning is already. First of all, you're on the north side of the low anyway, so you're not going to get you're not going to get any severe weather out of that. This next low for Sunday moves across northern Kansas and into southeast Nebraska. So I would say probably uh, there's some showers that pop up during the day in northeast Kansas. You can see on the map on the screen how the GFS has it. They're just sort of scattered around there. And then in
there's
the
no map up.
oh, hold on. Thanks for telling me. So I sometimes forget.
Yeah,
It's very tough to be the producer, the director, the talent, and I forget to do things. But here's the map. Here's how the GFS looks, and I'm just kind of, looking at what's going on. Yeah, I'm going to probably say you're not going to have severe weather issues. If there's anybody that's going to wind up with severe weather issues, it'll be further, maybe further north, up in Minnesota, possibly, believe it or not. And uh,
did you put the map up?
yeah, it should be up now. Yes, it's up. And let me just take a look quick at the upper air for you, just to take
Oh, there we go.
a
Now I see
gander.
it.
Yeah, you got this trough that's out in the west. along the west coast. It's pretty far west. You kind of get on the edge of that trough going into Sunday, and then it just sort of begins to retreat from there. The ridge starts to build later Sunday into early next week. So I don't think you're going to have, I don't believe you're going to have any severe weather worries from what I'm seeing right now. So whatever it is you got planned, enjoy, and hopefully you won't get any of those
In Nebraska.
in
Talking about
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Yes. Um, okay, so I guess we could wrap it up tonight. It's let me just check one thing. I don't remember if the chairman Scott Briller sent me a um a Briller
Oh,
Jeopardy.
no, no,
I
no.
don't
Oh,
think
no, no,
you know.
no.
No, you don't want to try.
Oh, I'm horrible at these things.
Hold on, I don't even know if he did. I have to check. Let's see. Uh, Oh, Jenna Marie just sent me a message. She and Mac are watching. Oh, very nice. Hi, Jenna. And Mac, if you're still watching the show, I'm just going to say this to you because you understand what I'm getting at with this. Are you ready? I before E except after C, lest it sounds like an A as in neighbor or way. He'll understand um, that little grammar thing. And miss you guys both, by the way. So anyhow, let me see. Oh, he did send me something here. You might be able to do this one. So here, what are the top five selling movie soundtracks? That's where the
Oh,
category is. So we will give you the lead actor in each one as a
track.
hope. So the first one is the number one selling soundtrack of all time is, and the hint is lead actor Whitney Houston.
Oh, and I have to name the movie.
Right.
And it's the one with Kevin Costner,
I could tell you
right?
it might be, but I could also tell you that I've never seen it, whatever the movie is.
Um, and I have to name the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't name the movie.
All right.
I know which movie it is.
The movie is
Yeah,
The Bodyguard.
The Bodyguard. Yeah,
Right.
it's the one with Kevin Costner.
Right. 45
I
40
knew who else was in the movie, so
right.
do I get a point for that?
No. That 45 million sales. Number 2 best-selling soundtrack, the lead actor was John Travolta.
Oh, Saturday Night Fever.
Correct, 40 million. Number 3 best-selling soundtrack, lead actor was Patrick Swayze.
Oh, Dirty Dancing.
32 million. Number 4 best-selling soundtrack, lead actor Leonardo DiCaprio.
Titanic.
Yes, 30 million. And the number 5 best-selling soundtrack, lead actor Olivia Newton-John.
Uh, uh, um, Lead actor Olivia Newton-John. Could that be? Um, um, oh, what's the name of that one?
You clean you often clean it.
With John Travolta.
Yes, you
Olivia
often
Newton-John and John Travolta.
right. You often have
Oh,
to
so
clean it out of a baking pan after you've made a roast chicken.
um, what?
You often have to you often have to clean
Clean
it
it up.
out of a baking pan with Dawn after making a roast chicken.
Grease.
Bingo!
All right. So I
I
did know all those movies.
I
Okay,
I,
not
I,
bad.
I
Not
figured
bad.
I figured if I put a kitchen angle to it, it would probably
There you
it
go.
would probably work.
Ah,
All right.
all right.
On
Not
that
bad.
note,
Not bad.
we'll
I should have looked at the chat board. That would have been cheating, but I didn't look at the
you did
chat
not look at
board.
the chat board. No, no, no. That would have been
Everybody,
cheating.
everybody had to try to say grease to me. All right.
All right. Well, look, everyone have a great Friday and Saturday. We won't be on the next 2 nights. The weather pretty much is self-explanatory. And Joe and I will be back on
Yeah.
Sunday morning. Thank you very much for filling in these last 2 days. It was a lot of fun. And we'll hope to see you again down the road.
Okay. Yep. Sure.
Okay.
He's got a lot of
I know he's got a
talks
lot of
next week,
talks.
so
Yes. Very good.
he gave you the whole list, so you
Yep.
have to figure out what you want to do.
All right, folks.
All right.
Thanks for the
Have a good evening.
yes, thanks for the super chat hit. Was it Chuck Cardillo you said with the super chat hit tonight?
Yes.
Thank you, Chuck.
Super chat.
And Diego, it's nice to see you on the board, but you don't have to, say hi 100,000 times, okay? But I'm acknowledging you, okay? So hi. There we go. All right,
Oh.
everybody have a great Friday and Saturday. We'll see you Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time to see how the gloom and doom is doing.
It's
Nighty night,
working out.
yes, nighty night, everybody.
We'll be Joe and Joe again.
Yes, nighty night, everybody.
Good night.
Okay.